KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tediosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis, not too far from the newly opened Fulton Street. Used to be the Fulton Mall. Now the street has opened, so come on out and take a look at what cool things there are on the mall. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very dear to parents. And one of the reasons I wanted to invite our guest is because, as many of you in the audience know, that my wife and I have 3 small kids, all under the age of 4 years old. And one thing that we use for all of them is a car seat. And so when I got information about our guest and what she's done with the car seat, I thought this was a great topic for the Central Valley, because if you're a parent, you know about car seats. So Jinah Kim Perrick, she is a former person in the news and an inventor and an entrepreneur, but I'll let her explain a little bit about the different roles she has. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Sevag. It's really nice to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, like I said, I saw the press release come through and I thought this is a great topic. So first, before we get into why you created what you created, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I guess by training and education, I am a journalist in the TV industry. So I've been a correspondent at NBC News for I want to say going on 13 years now. I am now very part-time. Before, I used to be full-time with KNBC and NBC News, and I work for an outfit called MSNBC, as well as NBC News Channel. Some of your audience members may have heard about that. And then before that, of course, I was a local news reporter all over the country. You have to climb up the ladder in order to reach national status, so that's what I did. And then in 2008, I started my video production company. It's called Worldwise Productions, and it's a full-fledged production company. We produce basically training, educational, and marketing videos for many hospitals and universities throughout the country, including throughout all of California. And then starting May 1st, I decided to launch the NIKO.
Well, and we're going to be talking about the product here in a little bit, but you kept busy. So what advice do you have for people to just keep going? Because, our days when we work and when we spend with family, it gets tiring.
Yeah. And, if you have little ones like you do, and I have too, my son just recently turned 4 years old. That time is precious. So I don't know that I would ask anybody to take time away that you can't get back with your little ones at the most important stage of their lives in order to start something crazy like me. But if you believe it strong enough, and if there's a hole in the market that you want to fill, which I really felt like there wasn't anything out there similar to what I was trying to create. And so I felt really compelled to go there. Having said that, yeah, it is a huge sacrifice, but now for the first time ever in the history of humankind, a person like me who's a mom, who's a broadcaster, who's a business owner, can start another company mostly by being on the computer. That's also an incredible opportunity. And if you're able to do it, I say go for it, and I'm here to tell you how.
And for those of you listening and watching this broadcast, we are recording it via Skype, so thank you to Skype. Because Jinah, you're in Southern California, correct? Where are you at in California?
I live in the community of Simi Valley, which is about 30 miles north of Los Angeles.
So tell us now how you created this product.
So it came after my many pain points with my toddler. It was about 2 years ago. We were coming home from the beach, and I saw that my son was covered head to toe in sand, not just regular sand, but wet sand. And, children have a lot of crevices on their body, and it was literally stuck to every inch of his body. And I literally thought at that moment, like, maybe I could just shove a towel over the car seat so that I don't have to deal with this, because now you're fishing out sand for months, right? Because that's so fine. But then you can't ever do that because there's 5-point harness system that the towel just can't go over. And so I thought, okay, something, it just started percolating in my head. And then a little while after that, he was potty training and he had a potty accident where he gave me about a minute's notice in the car that he had to go potty. And then, of course, before I could pull over and do anything, he had soaked the seat, no lie, from top to bottom. I think like, a gallon of potty training came out in that one incident alone. And so I said to myself, there's got to be something out there. So I searched on all the big box stores and they didn't have anything, like nothing, no car seat covers whatsoever. So I went online and I ordered what I could. There are a couple out there, but they all just didn't fit the bill. They were either all too small, or they covered up the cup holders, or they didn't have any waterproof aspect to them or anything practical. And so I thought, okay, there seems to be a hole in the market. Let's see what I can do.
So talk about the naming of this product, because when you invent something, it's got to be called something. With you, the name is dear to your heart.
That's right. So my son is named NIKO, and he was the one that I had all these incidents with a couple years ago. And he's also on the face of the product now because I decided to make him my model. And when I was coming up with the name, I thought, let's just name after my son NIKO, because he's a toddler. He's the inspiration for this product.
Tell us about patience. So when you're potty training your child, I know we're going through that right now, and 4 or 5 times he does well, and 1 or twice my son misses it. So talk about your advice when it comes to patience for these parents.
Patience is key. My son, I was very lucky with him. We did, what everybody tells you to do, which is take a long weekend and just go cold turkey, And so we said goodbye to the diaper that very day. It was about 3 months before he turned 3. And everybody has a different way of doing it. With us, it was just kind of like going on the potty every couple of hours, giving him a gummy bear or M&M or a sticker as a treat every time he did, to motivate him and, congratulate him for the reward. And he took it on pretty quickly. But like you were saying, we'd go really good, and then he'd have an accident. Or overnight, we'd have to go back to the pull-ups again. So that patience is so incredibly important with toddlers. But at the end of the day, they're 3, they're 2, they're 4. There's only so much patience that they can have, which is why the car seat cover is so important, because when they are having those trainings periods, they cannot give you a lot of time. They don't know what's happening with their body. They don't know the concept of holding it yet. And instead of throwing away the car seat, which is one option if they have, number 2 or number 1 going on over there if they have an accident, or number 2, taking the entire car seat apart and then having to remove all those harnesses and holes and clips that hold everything together, hand washing the car seat cover, which is what the manufacturer usually recommends, waiting for it to line dry, and then putting it back in your car in time for the commute the next day. For most parents, that's kind of like we're just not doing it, which is why there was a study by Maxi-Cosi, which is a car seat manufacturer, that showed that almost no parents do that. They don't wash their car seat covers, or if they do, they'll maybe just use like a Clorox wipe. And so again, it's just a real solution for real parents. If you have the time to go wash your car seat every time your child gets sick on it, or has a messy play date, or comes back from a swimming match, or God forbid has a potty training accident on it, good for you. But for us real folks out there who need real simple solutions, I feel like this is kind of it.
The interesting thing here is there's a study that was put out, and you can tell us a little bit more about bacteria and mold. And so for those who have kids, that the kid will eat something and then wipe his hands on the car seat, and then 10 minutes later you see that he's messing around with the car seat in his hands. And so, but there was a study, and the study is serious about bacteria and mold. Share with our audience about that.
study conducted by the University of Birmingham that showed that when they studied the average car seat had 100 strains of bacteria per square centimeter. And, most of us might think, well, there's a lot of bacteria. What's significant about that number? Well, that number included E. coli and Salmonella, most likely because of the potty training accidents that a lot of our kids have in those car seats, as well as, if they happen to throw up. A lot of kids throw up the moment they get in a car seat, and, that contains a lot of bacteria that doesn't quite get washed off. The other thing significant about that is that study concluded that was twice the average number of bacteria as found in the typical toilet seat. And so those car seats harbor a lot of germs. Having said that, our kids aren't getting sick from car seats, no matter maybe how dirty they are. It's just that now, day in and day out, we're living with that, right? And then they're living in those car seats a lot of times for 3 to 4 years, that it's required that they stay in those front-facing car seats before they transition to a booster. That's just a lot of bacteria buildup.
One of the reasons why I wanted you to join us on this program is because there's a lot of people out there who want to invent something, who want to create something. We always have these great ideas, right? You actually put a product behind that. You actually created that. Talk about how long it took you to create this product and your trial and error period.
Yes, absolutely. There are so many, and I'm going to specify moms. I mean, a lot of us have great ideas no matter where we are in life or what gender we occupy, but moms particularly, because every single day their heads are in a million different directions. They're trying to find the cheapest, easiest, most efficient way to do things so that they can spend more time with family and spend more time on their careers and the multitudes of things that they have to multitask every single day. So moms are constantly coming up with life hacks, right? How do I do this better? How do I do this easier? And so I think mompreneurs, that term came to being because it is so true. Moms are some of the best entrepreneurial people out there. Having said that, by the end of the day, who of us has time to actually create a product? Well, so what I did was, it took me 2 years. So I guess my number one advice would be, don't rush into things. A lot of us get into the trap of thinking, oh, this is a great idea. I have to start it before somebody else does. I have to get to market before anyone else does. Trust me, if it's a great idea, it will stay a great idea. And that simmer time that you have to actually think about it, craft solutions, talk to your friends, get their feedback, take 2 steps back, take 3 steps forward. That's all extremely valuable to making sure that the product is very, very good. What I did was I said, okay, I initially envisioned putting towels together. Let me get a local seamstress to sew a couple of towels for me. So I literally just looked up a local seamstress, took a couple of towels to her from Target or, Joann's fabric store that I bought. And then I said, here's a car seat, measure it, do what you need to do, help me come up with some sort of cover for this. Within, I would say, 2 weeks, she had a prototype for me. And I was like, this is fantastic. I'm good. Yeah. And then I thought, no, you know what? Now I know this can be a product, but this doesn't look shelf ready. And so I, through friends, got introduced to a manufacturer here locally in Southern California who was a father of 4 kids. And he was just like, I totally believe in this. Let me take you on. And he ultimately helped me create the product that is now shelf ready and helped me make all the prototypes and get me to this point.
I want to ask about that particular piece right there. So sometimes when we have a product, we're shielding it so much that we don't want to share it with anybody. We want to protect it, especially from somebody who's in the industry of creating things. You weren't hesitant about, or maybe you were, but you still went through with sharing your product. Talk about that process.
Absolutely. It is absolutely critical. Some of us, the product, if it doesn't get released from you, sometimes dies within you because you don't share it enough. You don't get enough excitement around it. People don't know what you're up to, and so they can't support you. What I did was I said, hey, could you use something like this? I asked all of my mommy friends, what would you do if you were me? Like, would you try to do this? And what happens if you have a great idea is everybody starts jumping on your bandwagon. There is not one person that I told this idea to who was just like, I got a lot of time on my hands. Let me steal that idea from Jinah, So trust me, if you have, first of all, really great friends, and secondly, friends like mine who don't have any time, they're not going to steal this idea from you because it takes a lot of effort to launch a company. What will come back to you, however, is a lot of amazing feedback. For instance, one of my best friends in Seattle was the one who said, I need a solution for when it rains 300 days out of the year here, because inevitably my kids will track through mud and then now they're getting into the car seat and then it gets really moldy because it never stops raining in Seattle, right? And I was like, never thought about that pain point being from Southern California, but I bet you anything, there's a huge market up in the Pacific Northwest or in rainy climates in general. And so that became a marketing pitch for me. And so I would say, throw it out to the universe. If it's good enough, it will stick.
So one thing you talked about is a product being shelf ready. Talk about when you realized that, you know what, this product is shelf ready, because earlier we talked, you had a great product, but it wasn't shelf ready.
That's right. And you will see a lot of people, and I get it. You have to have a iPhone 1.0 before you get to the iPhone 2.0, right? And you work out the kinks, you release the next version. Some people are okay with that. The only thing I would caution you with that is that if you release a product a little too early, people will just write you off and they won't come back to you. Or there might be some people who are like, hey, I believe in your product. Let me help you get to not only 2.0, but maybe 10.0, which is where the iPhone is at. So what I would say is, if you are able to get it prototype after prototype after prototype, you have the patience, you have a little bit of funding that you can dig into, you have some friends in good places that can help you make this a reality, get it shelf ready so that out the gate, you've already addressed all the concerns, all the practical issues, and you know that you have a built-in audience. And I would say take at least a couple of years to get there.
You are listening to the Central Valley Ledger and watching this broadcast both on KFSR 90.7 FM and Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. Our guest this week is Jinah Kim. She's here talking to parents about her invention and walking us through the process of that invention. Jinah, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Share with us a little bit about Kickstarter. So you got somehow involved in Kickstarter.
Yes. So when you are launching a product, everybody who's interested in launching a product, listen up, because there are a lot of lessons I'm about to dole out. You can go straight to e-commerce. You can try to go to Target, Babies R Us, which is now folding, Walmart, the big box stores, or you can go to crowdfunding. I mean, those aren't the only three sources. You can also get a kiosk at the mall. You can try to sell it locally at your farmers markets or your children's, schools and whatnot. We evaluated all of that and decided crowdfunding might be a good way to go. One, it gives you a time frame. You have a month to try to make it or break it. You set a goal, and if you reach that goal, now all of a sudden you have all these people interested because, wow, who's this person that reached their goal? Only 10% of all people who go on crowdfunding sites actually reach more than $10,000, which is where our campaign is right now. And I think something like only 23% ever get funded. So if you are able to get funded, it gives you a lot of great publicity and leverage. Also, what's really awesome about Kickstarter, Indiegogo, other crowdfunding platforms is that you don't actually have to physically make it until you get the cash from all of your backers, because they'll pledge believing in your idea. They'll, get the promise of a reward after you get funded and after you're able to make your product. But you could say, I'm going to deliver this in 6 months. I'm going to deliver this in a year. We didn't have that kind of time frame. We're actually able to deliver next month, because once we figured out that we were going to be successful on Kickstarter, we just said, all right, let's put in the order right now. So I would say that is a really good way to go. Having said that, with e-commerce, if you are ready to go out the gate and you think you can make up all of the investment that you made in your product, just go straight to Amazon.
Share with us a little bit about what your plans are to do with the money once you get it through Kickstarter.
Yes, Kickstarter is a great equalizer because most of us don't have thousands and thousands of dollars in our back pocket to be investing in starting a company. So, what Kickstarter does is it allows you to take pledges like, I will support you in you making this amazing bicycle, let's say, because wow, I've never seen a bicycle like that before. So, it's usually like a unique product that kind of isn't out there, created by somebody who had a really great story behind it. And you have a worldwide audience of Kickstarter backers or, spreading the love through Facebook where people can jump on, log on to Kickstarter, make their pledges. And if you reach your funding goal, and our funding goal was $10,000, only at the end of the campaign, so at the end of this month, everybody's credit card will get charged, and then we will start shipping out the NIKOs. So you pledge saying, I believe in your product, I want to back you, but only if they reach their funding goal do you get charged. So you have almost no risk. You either get funded and then they'll charge your credit card and you get the reward that you wanted, or if they don't make their funding goal, you don't get charged at all. So that's how Kickstarter works. And there's a lot of pros and cons definitely to that, but it allows you to start something with less money than if you had to just go straight to e-commerce.
So one time I thought of an idea and my wife said, that product may not be 100% safe. Rethink of that. So you're dealing with car seats and you're going to get parents like us, and most parents I know, is the product safe is what they're going to ask. So here's your turn to tell us why your product is safe.
That's right. And we do get that question asked a lot because car seats come with, all kinds of, it's the car industry, it's the children industry. There are a lot of regulations dealing with this industry. So absolutely. Our car seat cover is absolutely safe. And how we know that is we talked to a bunch of car seat safety experts and said, what could potentially be the issue with this cover when put on a car seat? And they said the real primary issue that they could potentially see is the compression. And the compression would be like if your child is wearing a puffy jacket and all of a sudden there is a catastrophic accident and the G-forces kind of like push them back into the seat. All of a sudden now that puffy jacket compresses both behind and in the front, and this gap is left between them and the seat harness. So we said, aha, gotcha. We did away with that compression issue by making the NIKO only 1 millimeter thick. So it's about as thick as a typical child shirt, clothing. And, if there is a catastrophic accident, God forbid, that compression issue won't be there. Now, there are, a lot of car seat manufacturers that may say, don't put anything on a car seat whatsoever. And a lot of purists out there believe that you can't even put like a pacifier clip onto a car seat because it voids the warranty. Well, if you feel absolutely strongly about that, not much we can do. But the car seat manufacturer holds that position because they do not want to be liable for a product that is not there. And today's litigious society, we totally understand where they might be coming from.
Jinah, as I hear you, I hear that there were a lot of people that kind of helped you in this process. There are like safety experts that reviewed your product. There are people who introduced you to certain people who made this happen. How do you say thank you to everybody? Because really, you've taken this baby, you've turned it into a product, and there's been people who have helped you along the way. And how do you heartfully say thank you to them? The words I know are important, but I know in your heart of hearts, you're very thankful and appreciative of that.
I am so glad you asked that question because there is, almost no amount of gratitude that I can express to some of the people who literally just jumped on my bandwagon and said, let me help you. I've stayed at so many people's places just from doing a lot of media interviews as well as needing to, consult this person or take that meeting. And all those people along the way, you cannot launch a product without the help of an entire village. Well, in addition to all the lunches that I'm going to be committed to after this Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, lunch is on me, by the way. One of the most creative things that came out of this process was we decided to sing all the backers and all the people who have supported us names through song. So I videotaped myself and a couple of my friends who are real singers in life. I live in Los Angeles. I have a lot of actor and singer friends. Decided to sing everybody's names to a tune that everybody's familiar with. So now they have a video, a music video with their name on it. And then we posted that on Facebook as well as Kickstarter.
So if this takes off, are you still going to be involved in like being a reporter or television? Because I'm watching you talk and I'm hearing you talk and I see how perfect you're conveying your message.
Thank you so much. I know, right? You're like, how many things can a woman juggle? I am basically the animal in that experiment. I definitely have a really great thing going with NBC News. For instance, I got to spend the entire month of February at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. Yeah, doing live reports for all the NBC stations across the country. So I get really amazing gigs like that. I cover the Oscars or the Golden Globes every single year. And so that is something that I definitely don't want to give up anytime soon, especially because they're okay with me doing that on a part-time basis. By the way, my territory, if anything happens in Fresno, I will be up there in a jiffy because I'm also kind of like the breaking news reporter associated with the LA Bureau. So we cover pretty much west of the Mississippi, and come on, that's super exciting, right? So I definitely don't want to give that up anytime soon. My production company, I have full-time employees that help me manage it. So yeah, I'm kind of in a perfect storm types of situation where I have a lot of support in everything that I do, and I'm able to manage things to fit things in where they can. Having said that, you don't want my schedule. It's pretty insane. But if you do, I want to tell all of your listeners that they can email me, and I'm really great about responding. Just send me a question and I'll let you know whatever it is that I know to help you on your journey to your dreams, because I'm all about helping people achieve their entrepreneurial dreams.
And give us that email address, please.
Yes, reach me at info@NIKOcarseatcover.com. And NIKO is spelled NIKO. If you just Google NIKO car seat cover, both the Kickstarter page as well as our URL will come up. And then through those portals, you're able to email me.
I want to ask you about the flexibility that NBC has given you. How important is that? Because, until I started having kids, I realized, it's very difficult for working moms to not only go back to work, but also take care of the kids as well. How important is that support?
Oh, my goodness. I actually don't know how people who have very demanding 8 to 6 p.m. jobs are able to do what they do, because so many things come up in life, right? Like your child gets sick. Well, all of a sudden now you have to cancel, the 5 meetings that you had planned to lead that day at your company. So, the flexibility in corporate America for moms and dads having to deal and face the issues that we do as parents isn't there yet. And I think most people in your audience will agree with me on that. We could work so much harder towards getting to the point where a lot of European and other foreign countries that are very progressive in nature have reached, where they support moms and dads and say, your child is sick, make that your first priority. Here, we're still very much a work as much as you can, take as little time off as you can kind of a society. And I wish that at some point we can get to much, much closer to reversing that so that we have a lot of support and flexibility for our parents. But in terms of if you want to be an entrepreneur and start your own venture, a flexible work schedule really is key.
So tell us how people can follow you or watch you, or if they're interested in seeing you on, NBC, how can they find you?
So my name is spelled really interestingly. It's Jinah. As a result of that weird spelling, I do get called Jinah. Don't call me Jinah. It's kind of an embarrassing little, I get called that a lot on the air. But so it's a unique name. If you Google Jinah NBC, you'll be able to kind of see where I exist in social media, see some of my reporting, see some of the companies that I'm affiliated with. I'm available on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. The NIKO is on Pinterest and Facebook and all the social media sites. We are reached at NIKO Cover, NIKO Cover, and my handle is Jinah Kim. So it's Jinah spelled backwards, Kim, and you'll be able to find me across pretty much anywhere with that handle.
On that note, we are out of time this week on the program. Thank you so much for educating our Fresno and Central Valley moms and dads and parents about the way you created this product. And it sounds like a great product, so good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and my love to your entire audience.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We are recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. If you ever want to come take a tour of the studios, feel free to do so. We have a beautiful state-of-the-art facility here. Thank you to all the volunteer crew that make this production and every production possible. We couldn't do this without you. We're at interview 500 and something. We've lost count. Thank you also to those listening to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM and to those watching on Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.